Welcome back to Shoreside Operational, not just another supply chain podcast. We would like to apologize for the delay in these videos. We've had some technical difficulties, some challenges, and I mean, as you can see, there's no headphones, there's no microphones in front of us because we're having a little bit of an issue with our recording equipment. So we're trying a new platform. So, by the way, I would like to introduce my husband. There he is in all of his glory.
The better half.
Yeah, the better half, definitely. So we just wanted to do a test video, but we are going to actually discuss something today, something that's been pressing issue for a minute or two now, and that is the Panama Canal and the fact that there's 155 ships sitting stacked outside of the Panama Canal. Okay, so for those of you that don't know are not understanding of the ocean side of the business, the Panama Canal is fresh water. Fresh water is a lot more. I guess it's less dense. Like salt water, which we call brackish water, is actually more dense. So the ships are more buoyant. They float. They float better. When you get into fresh water, you could take a ship that was sitting, up out of the water. As soon as you get into fresh water, she's going to sink. So going through the Panama Canal, that is actually fresh water. They're heavier. The ships are heavier. They sink lower into the water. So with this, the carriers have been restricting because of the fact that the Panama Canal is restricted on weight. We are having to restrict loads and our weight on our dead weight on the actual ship. So because of this, a lot of shippers are basically loading lighter containers, but they're shipping more containers, which means that there's more ships coming in with more containers that are hitting the Panama Canal. And of course, because of the fact that it is the dry season in Panama, in other words, no rain, there's the water levels have dropped. So there's not enough water basically in the canal in order to get these ships through. So they're restricting sailings. So there used to be 35 sailings per day. I do believe they've taken them down to 32. They're not going to be replacing those 3 slots, even though some things have changed as like over the last day or so. But they're not planning on replacing those slots. Now they are doing their auction, but and no offense to anybody at the Panama Canal Authority, I understand you all have to do a job, but damn, the auctions are expensive. So the carriers don't want to pay for the special auction in order to get a slot. So we're pre-booking and hoping we all make it, or hoping we can get to the Panama Canal and we can actually get through during our slot time and we don't get pushed out. So right now I do believe there is like a 3 or 4 day delay. However, that 3 or 4 day delay is pre-booking, and that's for the ships that are already sitting outside. That doesn't mean anything that's inbound. That doesn't mean anything that's coming at them or anything like that. So there is a potentiality for it to take at least a month or so. We haven't seen volumes like this at the Panama Canal since the pandemic, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So shippers are restricting cargoes to keep the weight less on the ship. Panama Canal is reducing slots, so it takes longer to get through. And everybody's looking for basically answers or responses. So for those shippers out there that are actually potentially listening to this, we are at the Panama Canal's mercy. We are at Mother Nature's mercy, to be exact, because it needs to rain, plain and simple.
It needs to rain. It needs to rain everywhere, and it's not raining anywhere.
Now, I've heard that in the Midwest, lower Midwest, like Tennessee area, Kentucky area, they've been having storm after storm after storm. But the rest of the country, there's California even on the East Coast, having droughts and having dry. We have it's so bad. It's been in the hundreds every single day for the last
2 months.
2 months now. And there's no rain in sight. There's no rain in the forecast at all. We actually, our street signs no longer tell us to don't drink and drive. They now tell us don't throw your cigarette out the window because you can start a wildfire. My heart and our thoughts and prayers go out to the people that were in Hawaii that got caught in those wildfires there. That is just absolute devastation. But I mean, discussing the Panama Canal, plain and simple, it's like anywhere else. We need rain. We absolutely need rain. So we are at the mercy of Mother Nature at this point.
So at this point, is anything going to change with the Panama Canal anytime soon until they get rain? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's going to stay the same as it is right now. There's a potentiality for them to possibly even reduce the slots even more than they are right now.
So be prepared.
Be prepared
just
for it
in
to get
case.
worse. Yeah, be prepared for it to possibly get worse.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, it is. I mean, we're just waiting on rain. That's it. And rainy season in Panama is usually November, December. So we've got a couple months before it really, really starts to rain.
So you're saying, hey, let's wait another
yeah,
two and a half
2
months.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you remember, this is only what, the 14th of August.
Uh-huh.
So right now, if you're talking October, November,
yeah,
that's still like, all right, I mean, you're talking 6 weeks until the end of September. And then you look at if they start getting rain right at the beginning of October.
Yes.
So you're talking at least another 6 weeks. So in another 6 weeks, they can even reduce more. Restrict more?
It could technically, yes, because the water levels could drop even more. They're doing everything that they can to keep the water levels up, but it's natural fresh water. So it's not like they're pumping fresh water in there because that could potentially affect the marine life. It could affect, that marine habitat there. So they can't do that. There's only certain things that they can do in order to put more water in there. It's not like they can go and take any out of the sea either because that's brackish water. It's salt water. So they can't do that either.
Interesting.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I mean, I know that shippers are aggravated, and I get that, and shippers are worried, and I get that too. But I mean, honestly, it's not the ocean carrier's fault by restricting the weight on the ships. We have to. We don't have a choice. I mean, Evergreen unfortunately found out the hard way when they had to offload. I do believe it was either 900 or 1,400 containers.
You told me 1,400.
1,400 containers on one side of the canal and have them trucked to the other side of the canal just to get through because they were too heavy. So, I mean, there's only so much we can do. I mean, we can go through the Suez, but the Suez Canal is a longer transit, takes more time, and that's usually our shot to the East Coast, not to the West Coast. So
for people such as me, where's the Suez?
It is it's in Suez.
Really? See? This is what I have to deal with.
No, it's
Egypt.
I think it's in Egypt. Yeah,
is that where the Evergreen got caught?
Yes, it's where the Evergreen got
caught. It's
Egypt.
Egypt.
It cuts right through Africa in that area.
Yeah, it's Egypt.
The African continent in there.
Africa. Now it goes this way. Yeah, but the Suez goes this way, not this way.
Well, it kind of goes like this. Squiggles. Come on, it's squiggles. Have you ever seen the Suez Canal in squiggles?
It is 1859, and yes, yeah, I understand. So that's on the coast. So that wouldn't even make that doesn't even make sense to go through the Suez.
No, it doesn't. It would take a lot more time. We would have to go around
because the Panama Canal is in
Panama, okay,
which is South America.
Yes. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense because the Suez Canal is what we take to get to the East Coast because that's a straight shot to the East Coast.
If you're coming from, like, Europe.
Yes. Now, if we're coming from Asia, we can go straight across to LA, Long Beach, and stuff like that. We don't actually have to go through any canals in order to get there. to get there from like Korea and China. It's a straight shot across the
But
water.
that's going to the East Coast. But if they're coming
If they're
from
coming from Canada, okay.
Asia,
So now if they take the Suez, it takes additional time to get to the East Coast. If you take the Panama Canal, it's a straight shot north, and you're there.
okay, so that's what we're talking
Yeah.
about. We're not talking about the Suez. We're talking about the Panama Canal.
But the
Where it's-
Suez is another option.
I don't see
get
how
to
it's
the
an
East Coast.
option if it's in Africa. If it's in Egypt, only if you're coming from that way.
Okay, so people, I would have to pull up a map right now. So hold on a second.
If they're coming that way.
Yes, they're coming that way.
But if they're coming that way, I'm talking
It's
about.
all going to the East Coast. This is stuff going to the East Coast.
Okay. So you're saying you bring in a ship from Asia to the West Coast, unload it, rail it all the way to the East Coast?
Technically, that's what was happening before.
That was happening before, but that's not what happens, correct? Like it's
not necessarily, no.
like if somebody
Okay,
wants to go
so
to East
if you
Coast.
see here on the map, I'm showing him a map right now, so you Google.
Yeah, she can't.
Okay.
Nobody
So
can
the
see
Suez Canal is here.
that. Yeah.
Okay. That's the East Coast.
Yeah, but
So once you come up the Suez Canal, it's a straight shot across.
okay, I understand that part. But we're not talking about that part. We're not talking about coming from
no,
there.
I'm talking about that's another option. It takes longer.
If you're coming from that way.
Yes, if you're coming from that way. If you're coming from any of the Middle Eastern area or anything like that. But see, now look now I'm showing him a map so you guys understand what we're doing here. China. What they could do is they can come down, come across here, head through the Suez, go straight across, and there you go. There you're in the United States.
They're going halfway
But
around
it's
the world.
halfway around the world, exactly.
All right,
It takes 2 to 3 weeks longer to get to the East Coast using the Suez as it does using, because you're coming from like South
That's
China
just
and stuff
stupid.
like that. You're coming down, you're just going through the Panama Canal, and you're there.
Yeah, that's just stupid to do it that way.
So
To come through the
unfortunately, you have
Suez.
to, and a lot of people don't like going around like the Horn of Africa
We're like Somalia
because there are still pirates. Pirates do exist. They don't say arg. They don't wear eye patches. Well, they might, but most of them are ruthless and they have guns. So we don't like going anywhere near there.
Yeah,
So that creates a big problem. But so that's why we end up getting stuck outside of the Panama Canal, waiting for the water to rise or waiting for our turn in line to go up the canal.
Okay.
It is what it is.
What other big issue is there with that?
Um,
You're saying you're having issues with stuff like
well,
that.
it's just what it is the issue is that the holidays are coming up. We're technically supposed to be in peak season. Peak season usually runs from like April to October-ish area. We're getting ready to ramp up for the holidays because you've got Halloween coming, you've got Thanksgiving coming, you've got Christmas coming, and a lot of the cargoes, there are a lot of shippers that for a long time after the pandemic or during the pandemic that went from a just-in-time model to a just-in-case. So there are some shippers that still have stockpiles and warehouses full of cargo and commodities for us for retail. But then there are some that have already reverted back to the just-in-time model. With that being said, all of the stuff coming from China and Vietnam and those types of areas, Thailand, Pakistan, anything like that, those type of areas are getting put in containers now and they're getting shipped over so that way these stores, these big box stores or these people that are supplying to the public can be ready for the holiday season that is literally right around the corner and is like just about upon us.
Yeah, Halloween stuff's already in the stores.
Exactly. Halloween stuff is already in the stores. So this is probably stockpiles from last year that they've already put out, but I can guarantee you Thanksgiving and Christmas, people are going to want new stuff because new stuff comes out all the time. So they're shipping that stuff now from Asia or from the Middle East and stuff like that, and it needs to come through the Panama Canal in order to get to these warehouses. So there's going to be a big problem when it comes to it getting to these warehouses and these distribution centers because it's not going to be in time.
Well, it's just slower, right? It's not like
but see, that's the thing. It's slower, yes. The slots are still open, they're still transiting. However, the backlog sitting outside could take months to get through.
So it's like another
because
Van Damme thing again.
exactly because the minute you get 30 through, there's another 30 right behind them coming in. So, so it's constantly replenishing itself with ships that need to go through.
That's called job security.
Well, yeah, right, for the Panama Canal Authority.
Yeah, but
But
they're
I mean,
making money.
it is what it is, and it's through no fault of theirs. It's through no fault of the ocean carriers. It is literally nature. We need rain, and we need rain in more than one area.
We do. We need it here.
Yeah,
It's very
we
hot
definitely
here.
need here.
It's hot here.
Okay, so we wanted to do this little test run with our new platform.
What's
I don't
this?
know.
What's
I'm looking at myself. It's weird. This new platform and see how you guys like it. See if it actually comes through. If it does, then maybe we'll use it again in the future. If not, then it'll probably be the one and only video that you will see like this, and we will scrap it and go back to the other stuff as soon as we figure out what the hell the problem is.
Yep, exactly. Because somebody can't have humming in her ears when she's trying to record.
It's humming, and you guys are going to end up hearing the humming, and it's going to be like while you're trying to listen to my voice, and Lord knows it's annoying enough. You don't need in the background too.
Okay. Well,
but anyways, like, comment, subscribe. We need subscribers, guys. You guys are listening to my videos. You're watching the videos. You're listening to them, but you're not subscribing to the podcast. In order for me to monetize this, you got to subscribe. In order for me to actually bring you more content and get more equipment that doesn't go in your ears, I need money.
Yeah, technically.
So technically, I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to be real. It is what it is. Everybody does these podcasts. They monetize them. I'm sorry, but if they tell you that they don't, their name is not Andy Frisella. Not everybody is Andy Frisella and can actually, fork over their own money. Some of us actually do need to monetize. So in order for me to buy new equipment, I actually need subscribers. So please like, comment, subscribe, send me questions, send me, ideas.
Good or bad. Good, we'll take it good or bad. It doesn't matter.
I had bad reviews from my ILWU show telling me that I didn't know, shit or shinola about the ILWU. I don't believe that, but that's okay. But I mean, in future episodes, we're going to talk about the ILA. We're going to talk about the decommissioning of the Waterfront Commission because, oh my God, I never actually expected that to happen. And we're going to be talking about other stuff. So give us some comments, send us some feedback.
Yep.
You can actually do feedback on Spotify if you want to. You can also go on to shoresideoperational@gmail.com and send us an email.
Yep.
Or you can go on to
shoresideoperational.com.
Yeah, shoresideoperational.com, or you can go on YouTube. And
I got a quick question. Hold on. Do you guys want to see a blog? Because you can blog on there. And
do you want to see a blog? Because this is kind of like a vlog. But do you want to see a blog? I mean, if you guys want to read it, I can write stuff up.
Well, and it's just to really keep in touch with you too. Besides having to use, places like LinkedIn and stuff.
Yeah.
It'll make it a little bit more personal and all that. What we're trying to do is get a little bit more creative and be those kind of creators that, we think we can be and we want to be kind of for this industry. And in order to do that, we forked out our own cash. And it's tough nowadays because equipment's not cheap and good equipment's not cheap. Cheap equipment's cheap, but good equipment's not cheap. Luckily, we've had one person that we really, have, he's given us this webcam, which is fantastic. And he's helped us out with our computers and all that stuff. So we thank him a lot.
Shout out to Sean.
Yeah, we thank him a lot for helping us out. But what we do need is we need just people to subscribe and everything, watch our videos, listen to our podcast. So this way here we can get some subscribers. Subscribe, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I mean, we're not begging, but that's how this kind of business works a little bit.
Even if you want to come back to me and send me an email and be like, dude, you suck. That's fine too.
That's fine because we know we suck.
It means that you were on there and you listened.
Or you watched.
And you're giving me feedback.
Or you watch.
Because
this is going to be, obviously if you see our face, you're watching YouTube.
Yes. So we're going to try and upload this to YouTube, and we're going to try and upload this to Spotify. Hopefully this works, and this entire conversation was for not yet 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, no, I need to know where the arrow is. Forgot it.
It's right there.
So this is so bad.
The arrow's on his nose.
Please.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, and tune in for more. We'll be right back.